It was a silent night in the kingdom of Elder. The full moon illuminated vast forests and dark hills, but the villages remained cloaked in fear. Whispers filled the taverns and fields about the mysterious Black Knight, a lone warrior who roamed the kingdom's borders. He was said to appear in the most dangerous battles, turn the tide of conflict, and vanish before sunrise. No one knew who he was. Many believed he was a vengeful spirit, others, a cursed man. However, one thing was certain. The Black Knight carried a dark secret that he never shared. Thomas, a young squire, grew up hearing these stories. He served under a minor feudal lord who never participated in important battles. Bored with the monotony of his life, Thomas dreamed of something greater, becoming a respected knight and perhaps one day uncovering the mysteries surrounding the legendary Black Knight. One evening, while sharpening swords in the castle, Thomas dared to ask the master of the hall, "Why does everyone fear the Black Knight? If he helps people, why do they treat him like a threat?" The master, an old man with scars that told their own tales, shook his head. "Because he carries something no one else can bear. What he has done, boy, what he has seen, it changed him." Thomas frowned, intrigued. "What did he do?" he pressed. The master simply sighed, avoiding his gaze. Some things are better left unknown, but the vague response only fueled Thomas's curiosity. He vowed that if given the chance, he would follow the Black Knight and uncover the truth. The opportunity came during an attack on the kingdom's borders. A horde of invaders had crossed the mountains, and the small local army was unprepared to face them. Thomas, hastily summoned, was among the squires sent to the battlefield. The fight was chaotic. Thomas could barely stay on his feet as the clash of swords and cries of war echoed around him. When all seemed lost, he saw him, the Black Knight. His armor gleamed under the faint light, and his movements were precise and lethal. He fought alone, but seemed to carry the strength of an entire army. His presence turned the tide of the battle, scattering the invaders like leaves in the wind. When the last enemy fell, the Black Knight turned his horse and rode off without a word. Determined, Thomas dropped his sword and ran after him. Thomas pursued the Black Knight for hours, venturing into dense forests and crossing icy rivers. Finally, he arrived at an ancient ruin hidden among the trees. The Black Knight dismounted and entered what seemed to be an old, abandoned chapel. Thomas hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. There, he found the Black Knight cleaning his sword by the light of a torch. "Why are you following me, boy?" the Black Knight asked, not even turning around. Thomas felt his heart race, but his curiosity outweighed his fear. "I want to know who you are. I want to understand why you fight alone." The Black Knight chuckled, but there was no humor in his voice. "You are bold, but some questions should never be asked. Then why do you fight?" Thomas persisted. "You could live like any of us, but you choose to carry this burden." The Black Knight fell silent for a moment before turning slowly to face him. "Because I have no choice." Thomas watched as the Black Knight removed his helmet. His face was that of a young man, yet deeply scarred, telling stories of pain and betrayal. His eyes, dark as the night, bore a weight Thomas had never seen before. "You're human?" Thomas asked, surprised. "I am, but not like I once was," the Black Knight replied. "I was like you once, full of dreams and ambition, but I made a mistake that cost me everything I loved." A chill ran down Thomas's spine. "What happened?" The Black Knight looked down at the sword in his hand. I betrayed my oath. A king trusted me, and I destroyed him out of greed. It led to the fall of an entire kingdom. My punishment is to live with the weight of that failure and ensure that no one else suffers because of me. Thomas swallowed hard, trying to process the confession. But doesn't that redeem you? The Black Knight let out a bitter laugh. Redemption? There's no redemption for someone like me. All that's left is the fight, until I can no longer carry this sword. In the days that followed, Thomas remained with the Black Knight, learning how to wield a sword and confront his own fears. During the training, he realized the Black Knight was not just a skilled warrior, but also a man deeply consumed by regret. "Why are you teaching me?" Thomas asked one evening. "Because you have something I lost long ago?" "Hope," the Black Knight replied. Thomas saw that despite all the pain he carried, the Black Knight still believed he could inspire someone to be better than he had been. After weeks of training, the Black Knight handed his sword to Thomas. "This is my legacy. Do not make the same mistakes I did. Use this to protect, not to destroy." Thomas accepted the sword with reverence, but understood it was more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of the weight he would have to bear. On their last night together, Thomas awoke to find the Black Knight gone. He searched the ruins, but only found the armor left behind, resting beside the altar. Thomas understood. The Black Knight had disappeared, finally ending his journey. Thomas returned to the village, determined to honor what he had learned. He told no one about the Black Knight, but his actions reflected the lessons he had been taught. He fought with courage, but always remembered that the true challenge of a knight was not the battle, but the choices he made. As for the Black Knight, his legend endured. Villagers continued to tell tales of a warrior who appeared to save the innocent. But Thomas knew the truth. The Black Knight was more than a legend. He was a man who sacrificed everything to protect a world that had abandoned him. And that, Thomas thought, was the true strength of a knight.
Our channel thanks you for listening to our medieval fables. It's a pleasure to write for you and above all, to illustrate the story, delivering a message of wisdom and reflection. I count on your subscription. See you soon.